Imagine spending like 6 months just pouring your expertise into a groundbreaking ebook or maybe a really detailed online course.
Oh yeah, just throwing everything you have into it.
Right. And you finally polish that last page, you hit publish on your website, and then less than 3 seconds later, a machine has not only read it, but it's completely ingested it.
Just scooped it right up.
Exactly. It mapped out your unique ideas,
Mm.
integrated them into this massive neural network, and is literally using your exact frameworks to answer some prompt for a user halfway across the world. And you get zero credit.
And definitely zero compensation, yeah.
None. And that is, unfortunately, the reality of the internet today. For anyone publishing anything online, it's a reality you can't ignore it anymore. So welcome to today's deep dive.
Glad to be here.
Our mission today is to unpack a very specific, honestly pretty provocative stack of source material we got. It's an intense presentation and pitch from a creator named Kary.
Yeah, intense is definitely the word for it.
For sure. We're looking at his proposed solutions to this exact problem, AI scraping. He's got this system he calls Protect the Website and a framework known as Instant IP. We're going to break down his claims, look at the actual mechanics behind his solutions, and figure out if this is the ultimate digital defense he says it is.
And it is such a crucial time to look at this material, honestly, because Kary's pitch, it's not some gentle warning about the future of tech. It's a blaring siren about what's happening on your servers this very second.
Yeah, it feels super urgent.
It really does. The anxiety around AI just quietly absorbing our intellectual property without permission, it's reaching a boiling point for creators. And what makes Kary's presentation worth analyzing is that he's completely moving past the philosophical panic.
Right, he's actually pitching a solution.
Exactly, a highly specific mechanical counteroffensive.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because Kary's core premise, it just hits you right out of the gate. He states unequivocally that AI isn't just casually visiting your website like a human reader.
No, not at all.
Right. He says it is actively scraping your content. And he explicitly labels this as stealing, to train these large language models.
Yeah.
But I want to pause on the mechanics here because stealing is a really heavy word.
It implies a crime, yeah.
Exactly. He treats it like a burglar. But if we look at how a web scraper actually functions, sending an HTTP request, downloading the HTML, parsing text, is it actually breaking digital locks? Or is it more like someone standing on the public sidewalk outside your house and, I don't know, taking a photograph of the front of your property? They aren't breaking your windows. They're just looking at what you put out there.
That distinction right there between reading and stealing, that is exactly where most of the friction lies in this whole debate. Because mechanically, a web crawler is just an automated script.
Right.
It requests a web page the exact same way your Chrome or Safari browser does. Your server willingly hands over the code.
So no locks are picked.
Right. From a purely technical standpoint, no locks are being picked. But Kary isn't approaching this from the perspective of how the data is retrieved. He is entirely focused on how the data is used.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, so your sidewalk photographer analogy, it breaks down a bit because the photographer just gets a picture. An AI model digests the structural integrity of your house, learns exactly how you built it, and then instantly offers to build exact replicas for anyone who asks.
Wow. Okay, yeah. That is a big difference.
And Kary points out that the AI companies themselves basically admit this. They freely admit they are vacuuming up the public internet to build their multi-billion-dollar models.
And he brings up this really fascinating concept about the pace of all this, right? He calls it creating at the speed of thought.
Yes, the speed of thought.
Like you have an idea, you write it, you hit publish, and it's live instantly. And his argument is that because our creation process is instantaneous, our defense mechanisms have to match that exact velocity.
Right, you can't rely on the old ways.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mailing a copyright form to a government office, it cannot outpace a Python script scraping your site 24/7.
What's fascinating here is how Kary anticipates the skepticism around all this urgency. He knows people might just view data scraping as this abstract, harmless observation.
Like it doesn't really affect them.
Exactly. But his underlying belief is that you simply won't view it as theft until your own unique frameworks or your proprietary data gets spat back out by a machine to one of your competitors.
Ouch. Yeah, that would be a wake-up call.
Right. He operates from the premise that the data is yours, the AI is taking it, and because it happens in milliseconds, you need an immediate automated deterrent.
Which brings us to the actual mechanics of the defense he's pitching. If this passive observation is happening at lightning speed, how do you build a wall that a digital crawler actually, respects?
Right, the protect the website system.
Yeah. He outlines this primary system, and it seems to involve two visible steps. First, you put a designated lock link on your site, and second, you add this very specific footer to the bottom of your web pages stating that your site is protected by Instant IP.
That's the setup. Yep.
But I'm kind of stuck on this whole deterrent idea, like a visual lock icon in a footer that only works on human eyes. If a web scraper is just a script parsing raw code, how does a literal image of a lock stop a line of code from extracting the text?
It's a really great question, and to answer it, we have to separate Kary's colorful analogies from the actual literal code level reality.
Okay, lay it on me.
So Kary explains the strategy by basically anthropomorphizing the AI. He says that when the AI scrapes your site, it's going to read this specific instant IP footer and think to itself, oh crud, I better not mess with these people.
Well, crud, like it gets scared.
Yeah, exactly. But we really have to ground this in technical reality. An AI model doesn't feel fear. A Python script doesn't read a footer and get intimidated. For a digital beware of dog sign to actually work, the intruder has to be explicitly programmed to recognize the sign and trigger an abort command.
Exactly. If the burglar doesn't care about dogs, the sign is just a piece of plastic. So for Kary's system to function at all, it implies that web crawlers from OpenAI or Google are specifically looking for the exact string of text that says Instant IP in the metadata.
Right. They'd have to be searching for it.
Right, and then executing some if-then statement that tells the scraper to back off.
And that leads us directly into what is arguably Kary's boldest, most surprising claim in the entire pitch. He claims that the major AI models actually do recognize this system.
Wait, really?
Yes. He explicitly states that if you go into these AI platforms right now and ask them about Instant IP, they know what it is. He claims his team has spent significant time, and this is a quote, training AI not to mess with Instant IP.
Yeah, I remember he actually lists the models out in the source text. He says you can prompt Grok to tell you about it. He says you can go into chat, which, we can safely assume is ChatGPT, and it will know.
Right.
And he even mentions asking Glayen, which, just a quick side note for you listening, considering we're talking about large language models.
Yeah.
He almost certainly meant to say Claude, the AI from Anthropic, not GLA, the media advocacy organization.
Right. Yeah, definitely meant Claude.
But sticking purely to his argument, he is absolutely adamant that these massive systems recognize the Instant IP framework.
Which is wild, because if we take that claim at face value, it implies one of two things mechanically.
Okay.
Either Kary's organization has somehow formed back-channel partnerships with these massive tech companies to hard code an exclusion rule into their crawlers.
Which would be huge.
Massive industry news. Or, and this is way more likely, he means that they have generated so much online content defining what Instant IP is that the LLMs just ingested that definition during their general training phases.
Oh, I see. Like they just learned the definition of the term.
Exactly. And if it's the latter, the AI simply knowing what Instant IP is doesn't technically guarantee that a scraper will respect the footer and actually abort a crawl.
Right. Knowing what a stop sign is and actually pressing the brakes are two very different things in computer science.
Exactly.
That distinction is critical because let's assume the worst case scenario. Let's say the deterrent fails. The digital beware of dog sign doesn't trigger an abort command. The scraper ignores your footer and it just vacuums up your entire website anyway.
Which is a very real possibility.
What happens then? How do you actually prove that your content was yours in its original form before the AI ingested it? And here's where Kary introduces his backup plan for gathering just indisputable proof.
Yes. He suggests a very specific archival method doing a screencast. He even offers a free credit for people to try this out.
Nice.
And the process is remarkably straightforward for the user. You basically just record your computer screen and you scroll through your entire website on video, capturing all the text, the layout, and most importantly, the timestamps.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though, because as soon as anyone who knows internet history hears the phrase, save a copy of my website, your brain naturally defaults to the tools we already have.
Oh, absolutely. The Wayback Machine.
Yes, the massive digital archive run by the Internet Archive, it takes those routine snapshots of the web. But Kary explicitly brings up the Wayback Machine just to completely dismantle it as a reliable option for this specific threat.
He really does. He outlines 3 highly specific critiques to just kind of deconstruct its utility as a legal vault.
Okay, break those down for me.
So first, he claims that Wayback Machines can be tinkered with.
Tinkered with?
Yeah. Mechanically, the Wayback Machine relies on centralized server infrastructure. Because a central authority controls those servers, Kary is highlighting this theoretical vulnerability that data stored there could be altered or deleted or manipulated.
Oh, I get it. It's not a mathematically immutable record. It's literally just a saved file on someone else's computer.
Right, so he's basically attacking the chain of custody. If you bring a Wayback Machine snapshot into a courtroom, a clever lawyer could theoretically argue that the snapshot isn't this airtight, tamper-proof record.
That makes sense. What's the second critique?
His second critique is purely functional. The Wayback Machine operates on an automated, somewhat random crawling schedule.
Right, it doesn't back up every site every day.
Exactly. It relies on its bots finding your page, which is often driven by external links or how popular you are. It definitely doesn't back up a typical creator site on a daily basis.
Right.
So Kary argues you might spend weeks building this highly valuable new course, you launch it on Tuesday, and the Wayback Machine might not swing by to capture a snapshot for another month.
In that multi-week gap, the AI scraper hits your site, pulls all the data into its training set, and you have absolutely zero third-party proof that you originated the material before the AI did.
Exactly. You fall right through the cracks of their capture schedule.
Man, that's brutal.
It is, which perfectly sets up his third and most vital point. He contrasts the vulnerability of the Wayback Machine with the immutability of the blockchain.
Ah, the blockchain.
Yep. Kary states flatly, and this is a quote, "Wayback Machines can be tinkered with. Blockchain cannot."
Bold claim.
Now, he doesn't dive deep into the cryptography in his presentation, but the mechanism behind this claim is essential to understand. When you upload that screencast video we talked about through his Instant IP system, it doesn't just save the video file to a hard drive.
Okay, what does it do?
The system takes that video file and runs it through a cryptographic algorithm to generate a unique digital fingerprint, which is known as a hash.
Right, so think of the hash as like a really long string of random-looking letters and numbers.
Right.
It represents the exact state of that video file down to the final pixel.
Exactly. And that hash, along with a permanent timestamp, is what actually gets anchored onto a public blockchain ledger.
Okay, I follow.
Because blockchains are decentralized and require network consensus to change anything, that record becomes mathematically unalterable.
So if someone tries to edit this screencast video later, like to fake a timestamp or add new text?
The video's digital fingerprint will completely change, and it will no longer match the hash that's stored on the blockchain.
Got it.
This is exactly why Kary views the blockchain-anchored screencast as the ultimate proof.
So if we follow this logic all the way to its conclusion, the combination of this visual screencast showing your exact content paired with the unchangeable time-stamped ledger of the blockchain, it equips you for the final boss battle of this entire scenario.
The court of law.
Exactly. Kary literally says this is designed so you can show up and fight in court if your IP is screencasted, scraped, and stolen.
And this just completely shifts the entire conversation from technical defense to legal offense. Kary wants to make it abundantly clear that this isn't just some theoretical debate happening on tech forums or Reddit.
This is a real battlefield.
Right. An active, high-stakes legal battlefield. And to back this up, he points everyone to a specific resource repository he set up at a URL instantp.today/court.
Oh, wow. A whole repository.
Yeah, he curates this massive stack of evidence there, and he really stresses that these are not his personal opinions or just blog posts.
Right. He's acting as the curator for the establishment's reaction.
Yeah.
And the evidence he lists is heavy-hitting. He points to independent academic papers, special reports delivered to Congress, and detailed PDFs from the International Bar Association.
Exactly.
So what does this all mean? Like, why point a creator who just wants to protect their travel blog to a dense legal report from the International Bar Association?
It's because those exact documents are grappling with the tension Kary is trying to solve. Currently, copyright law relies really heavily on the concept of fair use.
Right.
Historically, if you read a book and learn a concept, you can write a new book using that knowledge. That's considered transformative.
Sure.
But these legal scholars and congressional committees are actively debating whether a machine systematically ingesting terabytes of copyrighted data to just mimic human output can legally be considered fair use.
Or if it's just industrial-scale mechanical reproduction and, infringement.
Exactly.
The legal system is essentially trying to figure out if an LLM is like a student learning in a library or if it's a massive piracy operation. And by curating all these documents, Kary is showing that the highest legal authorities on the planet are completely divided on the answer.
And his synthesis of all this institutional scrambling is really straightforward. He basically says the world is waking up.
Right.
He uses these documents to validate the urgency of his core message. If the International Bar Association and the U.S. Congress are actively trying to figure out how to stop uncompensated AI ingestion.
Then it proves the threat to the individual creator is very real and very present right now.
Exactly.
It's his way of saying, look, the global legal community is actively trying to define the boundaries of the digital world. Don't wait for them to finish debating. Build your own fence today.
Build it now. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this is where Kary makes his final and honestly most relatable appeal to you, the listener.
Okay, let's hear it.
He strips away all the complex layers of, scraping and APIs and hashes and ledgers, and he just roots his argument in basic human behavior.
Makes sense.
He points out that you likely have some form of physical property. Maybe it's a house, maybe it's an apartment. You have physical, tangible things.
Right.
And you instinctively protect them. You lock your doors at night. You might install a security camera or use an alarm system. You establish visible boundaries to separate what is yours from the outside world.
Oh, for sure. But in the digital space, because we can't touch our content, we have historically treated it like a public park rather than a private home. We just put it out there and, I don't know, hope people respect it.
And Kary's overarching philosophy is that this mindset just has to end. You possess just as much, if not vastly more, valuable intellectual property online as you do physical property in your actual home.
That's a great point.
His mandate is that you must treat that digital property with the exact same defensive aggression. You have to alert people and the machines they operate that you are not messing around.
Put up the beware of dog sign.
Put it up. In his view, projecting that strength and providing that unalterable proof is the only way to ensure they move on to an easier target.
It really is an intense call to arms for anyone creating online today.
Yeah.
I mean, Kary ends his pitch with a phrase that perfectly encapsulates the energy of his entire presentation.
Oh, the soul on fire line.
Yes, he tells the listener to be a soul on fire. He is demanding that you wake up, realize the web crawlers are already inside the house, and lock down your digital assets at the exact same speed of thought that you used to create them. It is a fascinating, urgent look into the mindset of absolute digital defense.
It really is a compelling pitch, and honestly, the blockchain mechanism provides a really fascinating layer of verifiable proof for creators.
For sure.
But as we look at the overarching philosophy of Protect the Website, it does leave us with a massive structural question to ponder.
What's that?
Well, Kary's ultimate goal is total lockdown, right? A digital landscape completely covered in metaphorical beware of dog signs, unscrapable footers, and blockchain alarms.
Right.
But if every single creator on the internet successfully implements these systems, if we all build 20-foot walls around our public data, does the open exchange of ideas that literally built the web actually survive?
Oh, wow.
Furthermore, if artificial intelligence is universally and successfully blocked from learning from high-quality human public thought, what exactly will the next generation of artificial intelligence be learning from?
A completely walled-off internet where AI models are starved of human creativity and forced to train only on whatever hasn't been locked down. I mean, that is a wild and, frankly, somewhat unsettling future to picture.
It really is.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Kary's pitch and the mechanics behind Instant IP. As always, we encourage you to look closely at your own digital footprint, understand the tools parsing your data, and decide for yourself just how high you want to build your digital fence. Keep exploring, keep asking the hard questions, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.